back in our login.php file, right at the top, first of all, if we are logged into the system and we click on the login page or any other page which would redirect us possibly to the login screen, obviously if we are logged in, we don't want to see the login screen or registration screen, obviously because they are both on this, or both forms are on the same page. We want the visitor user, registered user, obviously, to be redirected directly to the page they wanted to access, or let's say the page which is default after the login. So we start with if login is logged, and we provide a key from the login class as well, and we're using a login front. In other words, if basically login on the front end has been created, if obviously the session has been created and the user has logged in, then we want to use helper method which we created earlier, called redirect, and redirect the user to login dashboard front. So first we check if the member, the user basically, is already logged in. If he is, redirect him to the dashboard after the login. So that's going to deal with this situation. Then we have obviously our form object created. Next will be object valid, which is basically our new validation object, and we are passing, as you may remember, form object to the specific method, to the specific class. Then we have object user. This is something new. It will be new user class. So if we open our browser, inside of the classes folder, let's create the new file and call it user.php. We start with the opening PHP tag, class, user, extends, application, so that we have access to database object and so on. Okay, first of all, we're going to create a private property called table, and we assign the name of the clients to it, and public ID. Now let's create the first method, which will be public function is user. This specific method will check if the user with a specific email address and a password exists. So email and password. Okay, now password equals, we need to obviously hash our password, so login string to hash, and we pass our password parameter. Now our SQL statement. So select all from this table, which is basically our clients table, where email equals, then single quote, and after double quote, dot to concatenate it with this DB object, which has been created obviously inside of the instantiated inside of the applications class, escape, and we pass our email parameter. Then dot to concatenate, double quote, single quote, and there we go. We have and after this, password equals single quote, then double quote, dot this db escape, and we have our password, then dot single quote and double quote and single quote, and then we go on the next line, and active equals 1. Okay, our SQL statement is ready. Now result equals this db fetch 1, and we are passing our SQL statement. And now if is an empty result. This underscore ID equals result ID. Basically, we're assigning the ID of this specific user record to the ID property of this specific class. And we also return true. Otherwise, we return false. Now that our method is finished, we can save the file, and let's move to the next video when we're going to be actually using this method inside of our login.php file.